Hello everyone, nice to meet you again with the Disney 3D Art channel. In today's video it will be the character Gaston from the movie Beauty and the Beast. Gaston is the main antagonist of Disney's 1991 animated feature film Beauty and the Beast. He is an arrogant and chauvinistic hunter, who is greedily determined to have Belle's hand in marriage. Even by force if necessary. His obsession turns him from a harmless jerk into a cruel, twisted, and ruthless villain, especially upon his discovery that Belle's love is not for him, but for a beast. Gaston is strong and handsome and exploits these traits to the fullest. While it is not clear if he considers himself as a good person or not, like Governor Ratcliffe and Claude Frollo do. The villagers very much do, considering how popular he is with them, especially the Bimbet triplets. And how they seem unaware of his true nature, Gaston reprise in the original film notwithstanding, and this serves to fuel his already massive ego. A narcissist who sees himself as superior to everyone around him, Gaston is proud, boorish, uncultured, greedy, short-tempered, bad-mannered, entitled, narcissistic, and sexist. Because of his superiority, he is shown to be a very bad loser as evidenced when he is playing chess with a villager in his tavern and angrily knocks the chessboard over when he loses. He is also impulsive and arrogant, as evidenced by his setting up a wedding before he even proposed to Belle under the expectation that she'd approve of becoming his wife. Thinking she was in love with him. Convinced that he is powerful enough to defeat the bigger and stronger beast by himself, Gaston even taunts the beast, wanting him to fight back as he wants to prove that he can kill him in a fair fight. However, his arrogance makes him underestimate his opponent and revealed his cowardly side. Once he realizes his life is on the line, he may have to rely on desperate measures to survive. Despite this, he was not arrogant enough to believe there was no risk of being killed by the beast, as he freely admits that fighting the beast does have the likelihood that he or the other villagers might very likely die during the mob song. Despite his belief that thinking is a dangerous pastime, suggesting that he is anti-intellectual, Gaston can be cunning, calculating, and manipulative, which is emphasized twice in the story. First when he comes up with a plan to blackmail Belle into marrying him by threatening to have her father, Maurice, thrown into an insane asylum should she refuse. Due to poor management and cruel treatment of inmates, this is a surprisingly harsh threat. When that plan is foiled by Belle showing the beast with a magic mirror, Gaston simply improvises and quickly turns the tables by manipulating the villagers into forming a mob to kill the beast, thus eliminating his competition. Gaston is not above using underhanded tactics, which had earlier been implied with LeFou's claim about Gaston being slick, as well as Gaston's admission about being good at taking cheap shots. And confirmed when he shows himself to literally be a backstabber in his final moments, showing that he also cheats at things. In fact, his begging to the beast may have been nothing more than a trick. He still had a knife on his person, and if the beast was as kind and gentle as Belle described him to be, then Gaston would have appealed to his enemy's better nature, thus allowing him to be brought back on solid ground before he could get one last shot. Regardless of his cunning and manipulation, Gaston is far from the smartest Disney villain. Gaston is the kind of person who won't give up on his goals easily. No matter how much Belle evades him or however hard the humiliation he receives, he is determined to make her his wife. His persistence is such that he will go to great lengths and sink so low to ensure he wins. Even when the beast overwhelms him, Gaston will not tolerate losing Belle to this monster. This drive will blind him to the dangers of climbing a balcony, which overlooks a deep abyss, causing him to fall to his death. In the film, Gaston's vocabulary skills are slightly inconsistent. When Belle refers to him as being positively primeval early in the film, the latter apparently takes it as either a compliment, clearly not knowing what the term actually means, or a joke. However, in the Gaston song, he accurately uses the word expectorating in reference to his skills at spitting, expectorating being a more fancy way of saying the term spit. Gaston's view of women is extremely sexist and misogynistic even by the standards of the time in which the film takes place. While he appears charming to all the other women of the village, such as the bimbettes, who, being products of an upbringing in the village, grew up to see nothing wrong with Gaston's behavior, completely mesmerized by his muscles and handsome face. Belle is the only one in the entire town to be able to see him for who and what he really is from the very start of the film. Even Maurice liked him at first, and dislikes him for it. He believes that women like Belle are not supposed to be smart, think for themselves, or get ideas. And he even tosses Belle's book into the mud in an attempt to get her to focus on more important things, namely, himself. In addition, his views on thinking in women also seem to suggest that if a woman does get ideas and think for herself, she will not be subservient to her husband and obey his commands. Because of this, Gaston's attempts to charm Belle always fall flat because of his chauvinistic, boorish behavior. His sexism and misogyny is also shown by the fact that he does not seem to even consider the possibility of fathering any daughters, as he states he wants 6 or 7 strapping boys, like himself. Gaston suffers from obsessive love, which is shown by his intense infatuation with Belle. Indeed, he is so obsessed with her that he ignores all the other pretty women in the village who would be happy to be his little wife, even ironically. Those who technically matched Gaston's standards of how women should behave. When Gaston is singing about wanting to marry her in the opening song, he says, "Right from the moment when I met her. Saw her, I said she's gorgeous and I fell," implying that he fell in love for Belle at first sight. The Marvel Comics serial likewise strongly implied that he had feelings for Belle since they were children. These facts imply that another reason for his relentless pursuit of Belle is to satisfy his pride after it had been hurt by her rejection of his marriage proposal. Gaston is also adulterous, at least in the musical, as he states to Claudette and her sisters that his rendezvous with the girls will continue after he marries Belle. Which makes it clear that he doesn't know or care that marriage is a one-woman commitment, or that is it's supposed to be based on love and devotion rather than ownership of property. Notably, at the start of the film and musical play, Gaston did not seem truly evil. Rather, he was simply conceited, male chauvinistic, boorish, and rude than a true villain. But as time goes on, his pride, arrogance, and obsession with Belle becomes so intense that it turns him into a twisted, sadistic, ruthless, murderous monster. With his obsession consuming him, Gaston becomes manipulative at this point. His speech to get the mob to kill the beast in order to protect the village is nothing more than a ruse to get them to help him infiltrate the castle. All he wants is to kill his rival so he can have Belle as his property. In an earlier version of the story, by the time of his death, Gaston felt that if he can't have Belle, nobody can, and was even going to commit suicide after killing the beast, as he knew that no matter what he did, Belle would never love him. First is to paint the skin, then color the black hair, and then wear an hunt outfit for Gaston. Next is to draw the hairstyle for Gaston. Finally, decorate the face for Gaston. So the character Gaston from the movie Beauty and the Beast has been completed. If you like this tutorial, please like and subscribe to receive the new notify. At the same time, download the app and go to the website DisneyStore to shopping online, as well as Disney Plus to watch some movies and TV shows for free. We'll see you again tomorrow. Thank you and goodbye everyone.